You've been around the country a little bit too. You talked about starting out in Virginia. You talked about Illinois. You've been to a number of different places, and you've seen a lot of different activities around the country. What can we in Missouri learn from you?
Well, my business partner, Mike Mayer, and I often say that we're wanted in 17 states and not wanted in 30 others. So when you get around a bit, you see this. Now, the other piece that I was talking about, Tom, about why this isn't new, as we speak today, there are about 10 states in the country, plus the District of Columbia, that have no state institutions. Zip, nada, they're gone. There are states like Tennessee that's likely to become the first southern state unless Georgia beats them to it. There is an inexorable march towards this happening. You can look at the trend line. We can argue about it, we can debate it, but the trend line is clear. And so the issue is, how do we make this work right? Not whether or not we make this work. In every state in the country, there are different challenges. But it's amazing to me how in Missouri, we talk about the woe is me, we don't have enough money, we don't have enough staff. And then I go and spend time in Maryland, they say, woe is me, we don't have enough staff. And then I go and spend time in Oklahoma. You with me? We're all part of this panoply of the country, of the experience that says there isn't a lot of difference. It's a question of some states saying we will do this, some states saying we may do this, and some states saying we won't do this. That's really what it's about. So what we see across the country are unbelievable things happening. But we also see that some states have not figured out this issue about dealing with the fact that loneliness kills. And unless we figure out how to embed people in their communities, of figuring out how people get connected to their churches, get connected to their communities, then what we've done is changed addresses. And that's freedom. And see, part of it is, that is freedom. And that at its core, at its heart, is a key thing that we're guaranteed in this country. But along with freedom comes responsibilities. And along with freedom comes the necessity of us giving back. The one thing, let me just say real quickly, that's missing from all these debates is the fact that it isn't just good for people with disabilities to be in the community. It's good for our communities, because if we don't have a mosaic, a tapestry, a full blanket of all kinds of people in our communities, then it's bad for our communities as well. And one of the things that I talk all the time with people I'm helping get out of institutions is I only have a few requirements, and one of them is that they have to give back to their community. I'm working with a couple guys right now that live in nursing homes in Akron, Ohio. I just saw them. Matter of fact, yesterday I took them to lunch. And I think they were stunned when I said, when you get out there, you're not going to sit around all day and drink coffee and smoke. I said, you have to work, because people work. And number two, you have to volunteer an hour a week. And they looked at me and said, what do you mean? I said, you have to give something back. And somebody said, no one's ever said that to me before. I said, it's because people have always looked at you as somebody that doesn't have a lot to give. I said, Thomas, you have a lot to give. And he said, so I could go visit other people in nursing homes, or I could volunteer at my church? And all of a sudden the switch went on, and he moved in that moment from talking to me as a client to talking to me as a citizen. And that's part of the transformation that takes place when you raise expectations and you say to people, this isn't just about taking, this is about giving.
I always like to wrap these things up by connecting people with resources. Where can people go to learn?
The Missouri Council,
the Planning Council?
The Planning Council's website is a wonderful place. I would suggest self-determination.com. I would suggest websites like Direct Funding. Google disability community. Just go and Google disability community, and you'll probably only have about 1.4 billion hits. So it won't take you very long to get through. I'm being a little facetious, but there are wonderful resources that are out there.
Well, Derek, thank you for your time and
You're
your
very
expertise
welcome.
today. I really appreciate the conversation. Folks, thank you for tuning in today, and thanks to the Missouri Planning Council for Developmental Disabilities for sponsoring this program.